as CSOs have expressed dissatisfaction with what it calls a total disregard for COVID-19 protocols at recent events, including the burial of former CEO of the Forestry Commission and one-time General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, Kojo Owusu-Efriye, affectionately known as Sir John. Some pictures and videos from the events that went viral on social media showed how some mourners were neither wearing nose masks nor observing social distancing. Again, over the weekend, sports stadiums were filled with spectators who blatantly disregarded the COVID-19 protocols, with a few in nose masks. Their worry is that these could turn out to be super spreader events with more deaths and hospitalizations. Now let's take a listen to President Akufo-Addo's address of the nation as he spoke on COVID-19 restrictions.
Our fight against the virus, my fellow Ghanaians, is by no means over. The continuous
Well, CSOs have again expressed dissatisfaction with what it calls a total disregard for COVID-19 protocols at recent events, including the burial of former CEO of the Forestry Commission and one-time General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, Kojo Owusu-Efriye, popularly known as Sir John. Some pictures and videos from the event that went viral on social media showed how some mourners were neither wearing nose masks nor observing social distancing. Again, over the weekend, sports stadiums were filled with spectators who blatantly disregarded the COVID-19 protocols, with a few in nose masks. Now, their worry is that these could turn out to be super spreader events with more deaths and hospitalizations. Well, let's take a listen to President Akufo-Addo.
Fight against the virus, my fellow Ghanaians, is by no means over. The continuous havoc being experienced by some countries as a result of the virus is a testament to the fact that until all countries have rid themselves of the virus and have achieved herd immunity, none is safe. So let us all continue to adhere to the COVID-19 safety protocols that are now part of our day-to-day activities.
Now, joining us via phone for a conversation is Dr. Michael Owusu, a clinical microbiologist and a lecturer at the Department of Medical Diagnosis of KNUST and the Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research into Tropical Medicine. Good afternoon. Thanks for your time. Now, it's almost becoming a broken record to speak about these things, as I feel like it is a slap in our face with regard to the fight against COVID-19. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, good afternoon to your viewers. Could you come again? I think I couldn't pick up.
I'm saying that it's almost becoming a broken record to talk about these things with regards to the blatant disregard to the COVID-19 protocols. So wouldn't you agree that this is more or less a slap in the face of our fight against COVID-19?
I agree. I agree very much to what you are saying. It's quite worrying because we are not out of this woods yet, especially when we know places like India and even in Uganda are struggling with the third wave of this virus. So it's a bit disturbing that even upon all the education and upon all the noise that the media are making about this, we still will allow this to happen. And to tell you the truth, the third wave will be quite devastating, and it's not something that I think that we'll be able to handle as we have done for the first and second waves. So I wish this never happened, and I think that we should not encourage or allow this to ever happen. And once this virus is still living with us, we should do everything possible to prevent a possible third waves in the country.
All right, now, Doc, we've seen spectators filling up sports stadiums as well as others also mourning their bereaved. Now, how worrying are such events, really?
Yeah, but that these events are catalyst for explosion or rapid spread of this virus. although the government is doing well in limiting importation of these viruses to the country, you cannot be 100% sure that you will prevent all infections from getting to the country. So if you have one or two slip into the country and then they end up joining large crowds, like what we saw at the sports stadium and other funerals for people moving up and down, you may do your best at the borders, but then you may not be able to prevent community transmission because it's open and everybody moves up and down and everybody is gathering and sharing things. So on this note, I think that it's not very appropriate and it's something that we should not ever allow to happen.
All right. Now, also, again, some are of the view that, well, we have started vaccination, and so long as they've taken both jabs of the vaccines, they should be okay to go out without a nose mask and adhere to some of these protocols. What would you say to some of these persons who are listening to you right now?
Yeah, so I think that would be a big mistake for people to assume that ideally you need to reach a herd immunity before you can think of putting in protocols for people to remove their masks. We only have about 0.5 to 1% of people who have been vaccinated. And you cannot use that number to prescribe or to make a decision that people should not put on their masks. The number of people who are still susceptible are large. Large populations are susceptible. And if you don't take care and you allow this to happen, you may put these at risk. So I don't think we have to do that. And people who have that mindset, they don't have to hold on to this. They have to, just ignore this and then make sure that they put on their masks and behave very well.
Well, again, the argument is that in other jurisdictions, they are allowed to mass up in some numbers without wearing nose masks.
Hello?
Yeah, Doc, did you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm saying again, their argument is that in other jurisdictions, they are allowed to mass up without wearing nose masks.
Yes, but the other jurisdictions which are doing this, some of them have reached some level of threshold. Some are 50%, 60% vaccinated. So the population that are vaccinated are more, and therefore they can afford to go by some of these decisions. But we are not anywhere, we are not near this yet. So it's a balance. If you have large susceptible populations, you cannot just go all out and face the virus head on. You may put your people at risk. So whilst others are succeeding or have succeeded in vaccinating large amounts, we are not there. And therefore, once we are not there, we must tread cautiously to protect the vulnerable people in our society.
Okay, now, Doc, before I let you go, moving forward, what more can we do?
I think that we still need to educate people and ensure that people still must be mindful that we are not out of this yet. And we need to still relate to other countries that are struggling through this in India and recently in Uganda, for people to be aware that it is likely that the virus may spread and may cause large outbreaks again. And once this potential for the virus still exists, we just cannot lose our guards and allow this to run through the system. So education is very important. Enforcement as well is also very important. We must encourage government and state institutions to keep on enforcing the law and to ensure that people do not disregard this in order to help protect all of us in the country.
Well, many thanks for your time. Dr. Michael Owusu, a clinical microbiologist and lecturer at the Department of Medical Diagnostics, KNUST, as well as a KCCR research fellow.